What's going on, guys? TZ Champ here. Welcome back to another video. Alright, so this was just gonna be a quick little thing covering this. So in recent news in the first Descendant, I just loaded up the game today, and this is what it pops up to. I saw the post earlier today on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and I already saw this. I did not know they were going to post it in-game though, so this is very, very interesting. Alright, so let's create a respectful gaming community together. Rule number 1, don't use unauthorized programs. I believe that's just directly relating to hacking and any other modding of the sort. Don't go AFK during co-op play. So I believe that is going to be boss fights, most likely, your void intercept battles, for the most part, probably. Don't do AFK farming during missions, rule number 3. That one, I believe, is probably the most interesting of the 3. Rule number 2 is also a little interesting as well, because that was kind of like what everybody was doing, right? Like the AFK farming, everyone was doing it. So many people probably got reported by other players. So it makes sense that this eventually got reported. So what are my thoughts on this whole situation? So I have some very interesting thoughts, okay? For starters, this should have been a given. Don't use unauthorized programs. Do they have an anti-cheat? If they don't have an anti-cheat that's not detecting this, then they should probably do that. 2, it's a player versus environment game. There's no PvP aspects, so I'm less like upset about people cheating in this game just because it is a player versus environment. Now, if they start adding more competitive based things where it's like, for instance, how Destiny 2 has raid races and things where everybody races to be the first person in the, to complete the new content or something like that, then I can see this being an issue, of course. Also, I can see it being an issue if they are using something to manipulate drop rates of certain items or duping certain items and things like that. Then I can see this being an issue. For rule number 2, don't go AFK during co-op play. Assuming they are referring to like the little strike missions and void intercept bosses, the easiest way to do this is just code in participation. It's not that difficult, I don't think, in my opinion. All you have to do, because they already calculate how much damage you deal and how much damage you take during the mission itself. So why don't they set a limit or a minimum requirement that you have to hit in order to get participation? Same thing for the don't do AFK farming during missions. Set a participation damage requirement. That literally negates the entire thing. Change it up. Your game allows people to do this because your game doesn't kick anybody who's AFK unless they like are completely AFK for like 20-30 minutes or so. So why aren't we adding participation things? And I'm not saying it has to be a ridiculous high number, by the way. Like, some people's damage might not be able to hit 20 million for a void intercept battle or something like that. But you can put a 5 million damage minimum, because most of the time you're going to be hitting that. I mean, I hit freaking 17 million on the average, so it's not that hard to get 5 million for missions and things like that. So that's what I would recommend. But that's pretty much it for this. Let me know what you guys think. If you have some thoughts on this and stuff and would like to share them. Sorry about the Discord pings, by the way. But yeah, what are your thoughts, guys? Do you agree with this? Do you think they should change some things? Do you think this is a little excessive? They haven't told what the like penalties and stuff are going to be yet for if you do any of these things. But I do know some streamers might be a little upset now, because I know a few of them, and I'm guilty of it myself, but I know a few streamers who would play with some of their audience members, and they would sit there and do AFK farming on the missions. So they would sit there and just work on builds or do something in the background, and they would just start up the mission and have other players do the missions for them. So what do you guys think? What should the punishments be? Should there be any punishments at all? Is this a little too absurd? Do you think they should worry about something else rather than this? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Appreciate it. Laters.